Welcome back to the channel. Today I've got something really neat, a Kawasaki Versys 300. And I know you're going to say a 300? Man, this makes 49 horsepower. It's got disc brakes. It's got anti-lock brakes. It's got your disc brake in the back. 290 millimeter front disc brake. All of it's got anti-lock brakes. It's got a luggage rack here. Stay with me. We're going to go ride this thing, put a few miles on it, and see what it's like. Pretty impressive bike. Thank you to the fine folks at Plano Kawasaki for letting me do these first rides. And let's get started. As you can see, it's got a sweeping RPM gauge. It's got a digital mile per hour gauge, and you've got some functions in there. It'll give you average mile per gallon with these buttons over here. It'll give you range. I don't know if you can see that very well. Just everything, an average, your range, your odometer, 2 trip odometers. But let's get on this thing and get going. I'm excited. I love these smaller bikes. This bike is only $61.99. There's not a cheaper way to get on the street and the dirt that I know of. This thing is street legal, so it's got blinkers on it, tail light, so it's ready to go on the street. Let's get on it and let's go take it for a ride. I tell you what, I love these smaller bikes. I grew up on these things. Pretty quiet. Shows your gear indicator. Turn signals are going to be over here. Turn signal there, right turn signal, you'll push in to cancel it. Horn, high, low beam, flash to pass is back here. I don't know if you can see that. Let's put this thing in gear. Also, if you were a beginner, and that's really kind of what this is suited for, is a beginner. It does have a slipper clutch in it, so it makes it a little bit easier, you know, learning on this. But it's got the 300cc motor. It's got 39 horsepower, actually 40 horsepower. It's the old Ninja 300 motor. You can see it revs to 12,000 RPM. It's not a race bike, but you can still have a ton of fun. We're going to see if this thing will go on the highway. Let's get going. I know y'all are tired of hearing me talk. Man. Yeah. It does have a 6-speed transmission, which is pretty cool. So it's going to have a good highway gear. I'm trying to shift it without the, which you can, but trying to shift it without the clutch. My bike's got a blip shifter on it, so if you seen me jerk there for a second, it's my goofy self. Man, I tell you what, I can already tell about this bike. It's just comfortable. Your feet are almost straight down. So I don't know, if you were doing something low speed in a parking lot and you thought you were going to fall over, you could put your feet just straight down. But, and that can happen. It does have a 32-inch seat height. And I'm really a 30-inch inseam. So let's stop here. This one does have anti-lock brakes. You can actually, oh yeah, see now I've got a 30-inch inseam. My feet are almost, once you sit on the bike, it will sag a little bit. And what I mean by that, it'll drop because you're loading the suspension. Oh, she's getting close. But anyways, we'll wait for this truck to go by. Man, what a beautiful day here in Texas. It stopped from being 105 degrees to, like, I think today it's 85, and that was all within about a week and a half. This has got plenty of power. That first gear is really low, I can tell you that. So if you wanted to just crawl in a parking lot or something, you can do that. we're going to take this thing and see if it'll get on the highway. It does have anti-lock brakes. You can get one that doesn't have anti-lock brakes. I think it's $300 cheaper, which you could get if you didn't want that feature. But I kind of like the anti-lock brakes, just in case you mess up and jam on the brakes. It's not going to throw you over. The pressure on the brake lever up here, and I'm really just using the front brake. That's really almost all I ever use. But the pressure on the front brake is about medium. I mean, you don't have to kill it to get it to stop, but we'll turn on our blinker here. Pretty good amount of traffic. We get an opening here, we'll go. It does have a clear windshield on it. Here we go. There we go. We got the green. Oh, that clutch is perfect. It's kind of a low first gear. But once you get it up in second, oh, this thing moves, man, for 300. Man, I tell you what, I noticed the wind is really right here. Yeah, the wind's right there. It starts coming up. So it's perfect. I guess that's what a windshield's for, duh. But it works. Take this thing on a little loop here. It does have rear brakes. Of course, the brakes are not fully broke in, and what I mean by that is this is a brand new bike. It's got like 3 miles on it right now, so you have to kind of burn in the brake pads a little bit. There's second, third. Oh yeah, it'll run 60 in fourth gear. You still got 2 left. We're going to take it on the highway. It does have a preload adjustable rear shock, but I'll tell you what, I don't see why you would need to adjust the suspension. I mean, maybe, I don't know, if you just wanted to nitpick it. It's got a temperature gauge also. It's got an econ. It shows it's running in economy. You're getting the best economy. And I don't know if you can see that right there. It says we've got 190 mile range on this gas tank. Man, I tell you what, I sure like the way it handles. I love that. Man, I tell you what, for $6 grand, and Kawasaki has got some zero down, 0% deals right now. You could get with them at Plano Kawasaki, get with Mike Cannon or one of the salespeople, AJ. Got your 4-way blinkers there. Horn, blinker, and you'll push to cancel it. Yeah, see, I was in 6th gear lugging it there at like 30 mile an hour. It would still pull it. So this motor coming out of the Ninja 300, it's a high revving motor, and it's going to make pretty good horsepower, 40 horse, and that's pretty strong for a 300cc motor. But I like the way the finishes are. This is kind of a flat black. Everything's finished real well. It's got a locking gas cap, just the way everything flows. It's not a $20,000 motorcycle, but the fit and finish on it is really nice. The mirrors are, man, I love that clutch. It's just soft, but it's not too much. I love that clutch. That's probably the best clutch I've felt on a smaller bike. I mean, if you were learning on a motorcycle, you'd probably want to learn on this one. either this or the Kawasaki 450 video, Eliminator video I did last week. Eliminator's a little bit lower seat. I think it's a 28-inch seat. So if you were shorter, you would probably want to learn on that. But either one of these, I just love this clutch on here, because when you go to engage it in first gear, it's just the action it has on it. It's about medium when you let out the clutch on it. Man, I love that front brake. See, I'm bearing down on that front brake, and that anti-lock brake is really going to help. I'll show you another big thing that's a big deal when you're learning. If you just let out on the clutch by accident, say if it's the first time you ever sat on it and you just let it out, it's going to kill it. So, and it will not start till you put it back in neutral. So that's pretty cool. I love that gear selector. Digital gear selector's got a clock in it, high beam indicator. Let's see, range. Let's see if this thing's getting 46 miles a gallon. I had read where this gets about 65 to 70 miles per gallon. So if you just needed a cheap commuter bike to get you back and forth to work, this is about as good as it gets, man. $6,000 car won't even come with tires and wheels on it. So, and you'll have a 12-month warranty on this. The Kawasaki, they could say an extended warranty. You probably wouldn't need it, but you could get it if you wanted it. Just that mirror. Going to be interesting to see how this gets on the highway. I don't think it's going to have a problem, but man, I love that clutch. It is just so easy to pull it in. I mean, it just, everything works so well. This thing is very sure-footed. Like, you've seen guys on sport bikes, you know, going around these corners, and you would think that to lean the bike way over. This bike here, it's just so positive feeling when you're riding it. You feel like you're so in control. Here we go, fourth gear. It definitely goes. There's 70 in fifth, and we're not even redlined. Wow, man, this is an impressive bike. I'm telling you, I'm surprised. I tell you what, Kawasaki did their homework on this, no doubt about it. .5 miles to the gallon. Let's see if we can check the average. 204 on the range. It went up a little bit. Okay, there is, I don't know if you can see that. It says we are actually getting, I'm at 65 mile an hour in sixth gear. I'm getting 66 miles a gallon. This is a perfect commuter bike. Perfect. Got hydraulic brakes front and rear, so it's going to have a real positive feel. I've got a lot more first rides, and I'll show you the, you can look for my playlist under my name. You should be seeing a picture of it, but I've got a bunch of first ride videos that are pretty informative. I appreciate y'all coming back and watching this. I really enjoy doing this for y'all. And I mean, if it's got two wheels, or even three, if it's got two wheels, I can have fun on it. I mean, I grew up on these. When I was 6 years old, I had an Italjet 50 dirt bike. And man, I was eat up with it. From the first time I sat down on it and I rode it straight into a fence. But anyways, I was eat up with the motorcycle stuff. I'll tell you what, I've got a 1 liter sport naked bike that's like a 200 horsepower bike. but I have discovered I can have more fun on these smaller bikes. You know, I've always heard that you can have more fun on a smaller bike than you can a big bike. I believe that. I mean, this thing ain't gonna get away from you, no way. I'm super impressed with this, big time. I remember, I'll tell you a story if y'all won't tell anybody. But anyways, me and my buddy, when we were like, 13, 14, we had dirt bikes. I mean, I grew up on them. 50cc to 80cc, two strokes to, I think I forgot to put a back plate on this. We might get to meet Plano's Finest. That's what my story's about right there. We better try and see if we can scoot on down the road without him. Anyways, so me and my buddy, I'm even shifting that without the clutch, but if you had no experience, you could use a clutch. Man, I love the way that clutch works. But anyways, so me and my buddy, I lived in front of a graveyard, okay? It was like it wasn't an abandoned graveyard, but it wasn't a very popular one. And we would always, after school, come on. Anyways, after school, we would come home and we'd jump on my dirt bike, or he'd ride his over on the back streets, which was totally illegal. But this is 35, 40 years ago, okay? There was two-thirds less cops on the road. He would ride his over, and you could hear our dirt bikes. They're two strokes. They're like, wing, 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 wing. Anyway, so y'all listen to this. So he would come over. We would look out the garage out the windows and make sure. We would let the coast clear, make sure no cops were riding up and down the alley or anything like that. And we'd go out there. I know this ain't good, but I'm going to own up to it, okay? I'm just going to tell you. Y'all don't tell anybody. But anyways, so boom, and we would come out of the garage. We wouldn't even look to the left or right, see if anything was coming down the alley. It had a little berm. And boom, we'd fly into the graveyard, and we'd give that graveyard hell for about 8 to 10 minutes. And it was pretty big. I mean, it was pretty big place, and it had dirt, and we'd go around. We'd be flat tracking and all that. Man, we thought we were like, and boy, we would fly back in that garage. Boom! We would fly back in that garage, drop that door, and sure enough, somebody would call in on us, because it was a residential neighborhood. And here would come the cops, right?
Officers are on scene.
And here they came. And so finally, we did this enough over the course of about 2 years. They would come by, they would come down the alley, and they'd look up toward our garage. And I guess they thought, hey, at least they're not doing it now. We got other stuff to do. And they'd go on. But man, we had so much fun on this kind of stuff here. I mean, I had Kawasaki KX250s that were ported and polished. I mean, tell me what y'all rode as a kid. Or if you've never rode, what you want to ride. Leave a comment. Tell me what you'd want to ride, or what you thought about. But anyways, man, it was so much fun being in the dirt. This is an off-road bike, so you could go play. If I had this, like first day, I'd probably go to the dirt. I'd go to an open field and just ride it through there. But this is really kind of made for an econo commuter on off-road bike, but that's what this bike is really aimed at. Uh-oh. He's coming through there. Man, I tell you what, I feel like I could drag a knee on this thing like a road racer. But you see that speedometer and all that, how it's backlit? It's pretty cool. Man, I love the power this thing's got. Oh yeah, second. Man, I love that motor. This thing will get it. I mean, it will flat get it. I'm blown away. Wonder if my wife let me get one of these and drive this to work. This would be perfect. Boy, I might have to play sweet with her. Butter her up. I had a guy comment the other day, I can't stand it when men say they have to ask their wife for something. Well, I'm on my second marriage, and my first wife was a great woman. I screwed it up. I didn't cheat on her or nothing. We just fell out of love, and I got stupid and left, and I thought she'd beg me back. I was wrong. She was doing cartwheels. She was so happy to get away from me. But anyways, I tell you what, I love being married. I got a good wife that kind of lets me do what I want to do. So I'm pretty blessed. I got a good job, and I've got the best audience, y'all. Man, I have the time of my life doing these first rides for y'all. I'm in 6th gear just lugging it. It has, see it? I'm gonna show you again. It's in the very tallest gear, okay? The very tallest gear at 38 mile an hour. Watch this. It's just, that's, look at it go. This motor has got plenty of power. I can't describe it. You'll have to ride it or buy one. You'll love it. I'm telling you, for $6,000, you can't go wrong. Get with them up there, or get with a Kawasaki dealer, or if you're in the DFW Metroplex here, man, this thing handles good. I don't know if you can see how far I'm leaning that over. It's very confidence inspiring. I feel like I've been riding this bike for a year. It just fits me so well. Just the way it works. I'm one finger in that clutch. It's that easy to pull, and it's a slipper clutch, so it just works a little bit better. But awesome bike. I tell you what, I am blown away. This is like the 450 Eliminator that I did last week. I'm just blown away by these little bit cheaper bikes, what you get. It's not super loud, sitting at the got the perfect exhaust note. Man, I tell you what, I could have so much fun. The build quality of this, just the way the plastic, the fit and finish on everything, the finishes are really nice. The pegs are just in the perfect spot. They're right behind your, or right under your butt cheeks. I don't know if y'all can see that. I'm amazed. Last bike I bought was like $30,500. It's one of them kid killers. It's like a hyper naked. I could have bought 4 times 6 is 20. 4 times 6 is 24. I could have bought 4 of these. Me and 3 of my friends could have went riding on this thing. That's pretty awesome. You can get this much bike for this. Go through here and I'll jump off of it and give you one last look, but I guarantee you, if you're wanting to get into motorcycling and you don't want to spend a bunch of money, or you're looking for something cheap for on and off road, this would definitely be a way to go. The 2023 Versys 300 is it's a deal for $6,000. I don't see how you could go wrong. Let me pull over here behind the Kawasaki shop. give you one last look of it. Put my kickstand down. Here we go. I'll give you one last look of it. Got a cool rack on the back if you want to haul something to lunch, or they also make side bags for these that you can bolt on. Look at that thing. I love this green color, this green and matte black. It's like a matte green. Anyways, there it is, the Versys 300. This is actually a Versys X 300. Amazing, amazing bike. Thanks for watching. Make sure you're subscribed. Make sure if you got something from this video, you end up liking it. Make sure your bell notifications are on. And we'll see you next week on the next one.